Hey everyone, my name is Joshua. I say Joshua Reviews, and as you can see by the title and thumbnail, I'm going to be going over my full thoughts. You know, I already did a video on this, but it was really quick and short, just to kind of announce that David Corenswet has been picked to play Superman. But this is my full thoughts on the casting. I have my notes right here, and let's get into it. Okay, so first of all, I think this is a really great casting. I'm excited to see what he brings to the role. I've seen some of, obviously after everything was announced, everyone posted clips of his previous projects, and it looks like he's going to do a really good job with the role. He seems to be a really good actor, so I'm excited to see his acting chops in Superman Legacy. So I'm excited for that. Now, the next thing I have on here is, am I excited for Gunn's take on Superman? See, this is like a toss-up, because he made Guardians of the Galaxy well-known all around the world when they weren't, when the film was first announced. And now, they've become sort of like an A-list character. Before they were like a B or C-list character. And those films are great. He made the ending of that whole saga fantastic. The thing is, though, I've said this many times before on the channel, and I'll say it as many times as I want to, that I don't trust Gunn with DC. I know there's a lot of people out there that do, but they don't seem to be realizing that he keeps backtracking on stuff that he's said. I mean, I know now that they're, like, after The Flash, there are people out there starting to catch some things, but, like, he's starting to backtrack a lot, and I don't like liars, and I don't want someone who's a liar in charge of something as big as DC. One being that he said that it was going to be a complete reboot, but it's not. As we saw at the end of The Flash, Jason Momoa is obviously staying. Ezra Miller didn't do, he's still there. Why the heck is George Clooney there? We have a lot of questions, which will probably be answered in Aquaman 2. You guys can go see my previous video on, James Wan coming out in a statement and everything like that, talking about the film. So, I think all I'm saying is that I'm interested in Gunn's take on Superman. He said that he's planning to bring a whole new aesthetic to Superman, which is why I'm pretty nervous. So, I'll say I'm interested. I won't say I'm excited. I'm excited for Corenswet, but I'm not excited. I'm interested to see what Gunn has planned. Gunn made Star-Lord. Gunn obviously went through months and months and months of casting process to see who was going to be able to play Star-Lord, and he ended up choosing Chris Pratt, which turned out to be a really, really good choice by Gunn. He trusted Pratt with the role, and he's clearly trusting Corenswet with the role. So I'm interested to see that. But one thing I have noticed is that he is sort of a Henry Cavill lookalike, which I think is stupid. Why not keep Henry Cavill? But that's why my theory comes in on Henry Cavill wasn't fired. He simply looked at Gunn's plans and walked out. So, that's just my theory on it. Because you have a really good Superman right in front of you. Why not go ahead and cast him? I don't know. Maybe because Cavill didn't want anything to do with it. Just like Affleck literally came out in an interview and said he wanted nothing to do with it. So, there's that. Also, Rachel Brosnahan is a really, really good choice for Lois. Everyone has been talking about this is such a great choice, and honestly, I agree. She, from what I've seen, she's a pretty good actress. So, I'm excited to see her take on Superman and Lois. Sorry, I'm talking about the show. I'm excited to see her take on Lois alongside Superman. And the next part is going to be pretty sappy. So, okay, so I grew up with Henry Cavill Superman and obviously Amy Adams, Lois Lane. And it's really sad to see them go. Hopefully it's not forever. Warner Brothers Discovery are behind the scenes talking with Netflix to license some things over. Netflix is obviously all pro Snyder right now. They're absolutely loving working with him. And it seems, from all the stuff that we've heard, Snyder enjoys working with them. And Warner Brothers Discovery is talking about licensing some movies and films and IPs over from Max to Netflix. So hopefully we can see them, return. But just in case, they did such a good job in their roles. Unfortunately, Walter Hamada and Warner Brothers Discovery just didn't treat them right. And unfortunately, we never got to see a Man of Steel 2, which would have given us that, that Superman we all know and love. But for whatever reason, people are impatient. I'm not going to say you guys, but let's be honest. Everyone was very impatient with Snyder. They said, when the heck are we going to be able to see Cavill become this much lighter and optimistic Superman? Why is he so dark all the time? And they were setting that up in Black Adam. He came back for Black Adam. He did the cameo, and then he also shot a cameo for The Flash. That was supposed to be the ending scene of The Flash with Affleck and Kaye and Godot waiting outside the courthouse for him, but Gunn decided to go in and just cut that scene out, which would have been a much nicer way to send off the DCEU, but instead, he decided to bring back George Clooney, which is even more stupid of an idea. You see what I'm saying here about Gunn's decision-making? It's not exactly great with DC. With Marvel, he produced on Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, and no, he only produced on Avengers Infinity War. He didn't produce on Endgame. And Avengers Infinity War came out great. It's one of the best comic book movies ever. But when Gunn decided to go over to DC, that's when, for whatever reason, he decided to have fun with things, which is not what people wanted. We wanted a real, a nice take on things, but, he brought the Justice League in for Peacemaker. Didn't work out. It was awful. And then, the post-credit scene for The Flash was the most awful post-credit scene in all cinema history. It's literally just Aquaman and Barry coming out, and Aquaman's drunk, and Aquaman falls into a puddle of water, and he doesn't get up, and then Barry just walks away. Like, what? That makes no sense whatsoever. And what's funny is that Barbara Muschietti and Annie Muschietti and everyone was coming out saying that the post-credit scene was going to get people hyped up, which is the opposite, and everyone took to social media and started to literally, go crazy over it, being like, this is awful, this is not what we were promised, which they should. I've heard some people say that, people should band together and sue Warner Brothers Discovery for the false marketing, which honestly, I think they should. I'm honestly sick and tired of Warner Brothers Discovery and Warner Brothers just in a whole lying to us. Because, you know, we got that slate all the way back in 2014, I think it was, when they announced the Cyborg project, and, you know, we were supposed to get the Flash movie originally all the way back in 2018, but that didn't happen. Why? Because directors kept leaving, and writers kept leaving because of the environment. So it's really because of them that all this is screwed up. But also Walter Hamada takes a big part of it. He was originally planning to have the Trinity all female. Like, why? I don't... Same thing with Gunn. I don't know what he's doing with DC. Like, who are the Creature Commandos? And who are the Authority? No one knows. They're like, the heck is this crap? Snyder was actually doing pretty well. If you look at the numbers, people were actually interested in the DCEU. Before, you know, the pandemic and everything hit, then the Suicide Squad bombed. Which I've seen clips and it doesn't really look like a great movie. So, and then, you know, Birds of Prey. That was awful. You know, Wonder Woman 1984 was awful. But then, people started to come back for Black Adam. That movie made $400 million, but it didn't even get a China release, so it would have made more. And, also, I've seen that if you count for inflation and everything like that, that Batman vs. Superman most likely made $1 billion. Except, I think Warner Brothers decided to just cover everything up so that they could get away from Snyder completely. Why? I have no clue. In my opinion, they should have delayed Justice League until Snyder was ready to come back. But then again, I think they made the right choice with hiring Joss Whedon at the time. Because, you know, he had made the first Avengers movie and Avengers Age of Ultron, which are great movies. But then Justice League 2017 came out to be a total abomination, and everyone was demanding the Snyder Cut for years. And then we finally got it in 2021, and everyone loved it and was like, we need the Snyderverse now. Because they left us on a cliffhanger with Darkseid, which everyone would have loved to see. But, you know, they decided to just bring in Gunn for whatever reason. At the time, I won't lie, I was excited. And then down the road, that's where my excitement level just started to go all the way down there. So Superman Legacy really has to save them, which I don't even think Superman Legacy is going to get made because of how much debt Warner Brothers Discovery are in, and their investors are asking for a return on their investment. $49 billion in debt, people. How do you expect a Superman movie to get made when they're that much in debt? Don't know who's going to invest in that movie. Alright. I will see you all next time